All right, welcome back, everybody. It's your boy Neostarling, and I am back here with another video. Yes, we do indeed have another Reddit topic to cover. So I'm going to switch over to my other screen. We're going to go here to r/no contact. And by the way, I will be going more in depth on what no contact actually means later on after I read this. I just felt that this was actually a pretty good little snippet of an article to read, or someone's post rather, not really an article. I thought that this was a good idea to read just to sort of give ourselves an idea of what we're getting into, right? So let's just start with that. Okay, so this reads, I think this is why no contact hurts so much more than the actual breakup. When you are not in touch with them, you don't remember who they actually were. While breaking up, you are seeing the worst of them, the things that led to that point, the ways in which they broke your heart. But when you're missing them, you remember the parts you miss, the smile that comforted you, the conversations that rendered time meaningless, the physical closeness that made you feel loved. You remember the things that didn't even exist. Wow, that's pretty powerful. The things you had imagined you'd have if they cherished you the way they should. And it's that passive feeling that you need to keep conquering by actively remembering the parts that caused the hurt you didn't deserve. The unreliable parts, the lies, the apologizing without meaning it, the inability to change. While I wrote this as a reminder for myself, if you're struggling with why it hurts more than when you chose to no contact, I hope this helps you. This is a good starting point. So first and foremost, shout out to the poster. I actually thought this was a really good idea and a good topic to speak on here. So I have a couple of criticisms on the post. First and foremost, the idea here in this post, what they're trying to get across to us is that even though you have all these memories of this person that you cherished, right, you ultimately had to remember the hurt, because by remembering the hurt, it sort of helps you get over them quicker, so to speak. But I really don't like the idea of that, because if you're going no contact, the likelihood is that you're going through it because you actually, in some way, shape, or form, want this individual back. Whether they deserve you or not, that is still your task. But what a lot of you need to realize is that you did love this person at some point. So thinking of them in a negative way just because they're not with you anymore, it's not going to really help you with the no contact aspect. It might to an extent, but it's really just a band-aid on a wound, you know, if that makes any sense. I look at it like this. No contacts, the real purpose of it, it's not that you are away from this partner for so long that they realize suddenly that they love you and then this becomes a Disney movie where you just get together and live happily ever after. No, that's not the purpose of it at all. And realistically, a good chunk of the time, you're not going to end up with them. And you know what? You have to be okay with that outcome, because the real purpose, dear viewer, dear broken-hearted individual that's looking at this video or listening to it, the real purpose of no contact is not to make your ex miss you. The real purpose is to gain your life back. You see, because it is a psychological trick we're actually playing on ourselves. By us saying we're not going to get in contact with this person, whether it be text message, phone calls, stalking their social media, looking at all their stories. It doesn't matter what form the no contact takes place. The idea is to purge yourself from the memory of this individual, but not so that they can miss you, but so that you can get your own life back. Okay? Because yes, in some circumstances, when someone breaks up with you, it's never really a breakup in the beginning. Like, let's face it. Those breakups, they're kind of, there's chapters to a breakup. You know, breakups don't just happen and then suddenly, poof, vamoosh, that individual is gone from your plane of reality. You know, they come back in different ways, shapes, and forms. But the idea is to become who you were previously before you allowed yourself to reach the depths of despair, trying to get back with this person. You know, maybe you ignored your friends, right? Start paying attention to them again. Begin to pay attention to your support system, those that care and cherish you. You know, maybe there's family you've neglected, or you've possibly neglected your own health. Maybe you gained 20 pounds during this relationship. And hey, I get it. Relationship fat, it's a real thing. Totally. Maybe hit the gym again. You know, you want to psychologically and physically put yourself in a better place, but not so that they can realize that they miss you and take you back. You're really doing it for yourself so that you can move on with the rest of your life, realizing that, hey, you know what? I'm going to be okay. I'll share a story with all of you. So back in 2018, I went through a situation like this where I was no longer with this girl that I was with. You know, we were together for a couple of years, and I really missed her, man. I really did. And we just didn't get back together. Safe to say I was on the internet. I was looking at videos. I was reading Reddit articles. I was doing all types of things in order to figure out if there was a hack to get her back. And I realized something throughout this whole process. After 1 month, okay, and I'm going to repeat that again. After 1 month of not getting in contact with her and just living my life and doing what I had to do, I realized that the hurt didn't feel so bad anymore. You see, relationships are a battle of attrition, okay? And so are breakups. If you can weather the storm, the initial plight that has struck you, you will soon realize that, you know what, this is a lot easier than I thought. It doesn't hurt as much anymore. The hurt might still be there. You might still feel that beating in your heart. If you hear their name, if you see them from the distance, you might actually feel something. Yes, it could reactivate your emotions. But the goal is to convert yourself into the type of person that's ready to move forward with the rest of your life without this person in your life. Okay, because you have to be ready for the possibility that you're not going to get back with this person. And you know what I did, man? I started going out at 4 in the morning because in my previous job, I had to be at work at 7. So I used to get up at 5:30 and I would get ready, take a shower, take the train, you know, and be at this soulless job that just made me think of her more because it was such brain dead work that all I could think about was the person I was no longer with. So I woke up at 4 in the morning instead. Now, there's no set time that you have to wake up, by the way. You can do this, you know, at your leisure. But I woke up at 4 in the morning and I started running. I started running from my house all the way to the park, which was about 4 miles going and 4 miles coming back. All right. So it was about an 8-mile jog. So I did that first thing in the morning and I reached a point where I was focusing on breathing. I wasn't thinking about her anymore. The only thing I was focused on is catching my breath because you best believe I was out of shape and I was out of breath. And when I had that moment, I was by the water. There were ducks. It was really nice view. It was sunny. You know, the sunlight was just hitting my body. So I was feeling good because of that as well. Once the sun started coming up, at least. And I realized that I was struggling to breathe. And once I realized that all I wanted to do was breathe, the hurt just started going away gradually. So I ran and I ran like Forrest Gump back in the day. And if you ever saw that movie, if you saw Forrest Gump, you know, running was his thing. And eventually it just didn't hurt so much anymore. I got over her and I moved on with the rest of my life and I feel great. You know, I'm in a better place than I was arguably at that time. And you know what? Life goes on. Okay, the show must go on. When the curtain closes, your life doesn't stop. This isn't a Broadway show where, you know, once it's over, you go get drinks with all your teammates and, you know, you just hang out. You have to live your life when the curtain closes. You have to keep progressing with the rest of your life. And that's really the point of no contact. No contact is for you. It is for your ability to realize that you have worth and value to yourself and to others around you. And even if this person you're no longer with can't see it, right? That's okay. They're not supposed to because they're no longer a part of your life. You're going to wake up one day and you're not going to check her Instagram first thing in the morning. Okay. You're not going to think about her while you're at work all day instead of getting your actual job done. No, you're going to get out of work. You're going to go to the gym. You're probably going to hang out with some friends, possibly get some adult beverages. And as time progresses and as time moves on, you're going to get over your ex because you were never under them to begin with. But with that said, I hope you've gained some value from this video. This is going to be a short one. I don't want to make it too long. According to the YouTube algorithm, y'all don't watch more than 5 minutes of my videos anyway. So I'm going to keep this one short. I hope that this message reached you well. I am Neostarling. You are all awesome, and don't ever, ever let anyone tell you different. Signing off.